has the yatra, you've had leadership tussles in Rajasthan, you've had leadership tussles in Karnataka that we are seeing. Has the yatra in any way helped in resolving some of these issues, or at least bringing some sort of understanding of how to proceed?
Well, my mind goes back to a video interaction that Mr. Gandhi did in Raichur.
Right.
At the end of every state,
right,
he brings all the state leaders together and does a 1 hour interaction amongst them. Very interesting. And he did this in Raichur. And the first question, all the Karnataka leaders were there, and this video is available on the social media. So he asks Mr. Siddaramaiah ji, what do you think is DK's greatest strength? So Siddaramaiah is nonplussed for a moment. Then he turns to DK and he says, DK, what is Siddaramaiah ji's greatest strength? So, trying to break down barriers. Right. He did this in Rajasthan, he did this in Madhya Pradesh.
Rajasthan, what happened between Sachin and Gehlot?
It was animated conversation, asked similar questions of both of them. And, clearly, publicly he has said that both of them are great assets to the party, which we have to accommodate each other's worries and concerns. No, I think, Raj, to be honest, for the period of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, there has been unity, there has been solidarity, there has been a sense of collective purpose. Now, if you ask me,
right,
will it be sustained?
Right.
Will it continue after the Yatra? We must try to ensure that it is sustained.
Right.
It's not automatic. But I think what the Bharat Jodo Yatra has done is infused in the Congress a sense of collectivity. There is Mr. Rahul Gandhi has benefited from connectivity. The Congress party has benefited from collectivity. I mean, these are the two great takeaways. One for the organization, collectivity, and one for the individual, connectivity. Connectivity to your own organization, connectivity to the external world.
Now, that comes to the real purpose of why did the Bharat Jodo Yatra come about? I mean, what was the triggering factors?
No, I think, at Udaipur there was a discussion on what is it that we can do completely different, something that is dramatic, that will show to our party workers that we are serious about reviving ourselves, and also show to the political establishment, political class, that the Congress party is still a force to reckon with. 2014, we had a debacle. 2019 was also a debacle because we did far worse than we expected we would. We thought that we would get at least 3 times the number of seats that we ended up getting. So it was a debacle in that sense of the term. So there was, after 2019, there was migration of people from our party. There was a sense of disenchantment, disappointment, disillusionment. I know some people in depression, So Udaipur was really conceived of as a Atma Chintan Shivir. Look, let's get together, let's put our minds together. This was
May 2022.
Yeah. This was on the 13th, 14th and 15th of May.
Right.
And our Congress President then, Mrs. Gandhi. Personally, I know some people were cynical about having the Chintan Shivir. We've had Chintan Shivers in the past. But she single-mindedly and single-handedly said, no, let's do it. And let's put our heads together. So 3 days we were in Udaipur, and on the 15th of May, in her final remarks, she announced this Kanyakumari to Kashmir Bharat Jodo Yatra. And I think in the back of her mind, in the back of Mr. Rahul Gandhi's mind, and all other senior Congress leaders, Mr. Kharge was there, Mr. Digvijay Singh was there, our chief ministers were there, many of our general secretaries, like our general secretary organization was very much involved, Mr. Venugopal. So in the back of their minds was that we must do something that will capture the imagination of our workers. It will capture the imagination of the country and show that the Congress is dead serious about coming back on the path of revival. Now, for Mr. Gandhi,
That's what a question I wanted to ask you about Rahul Gandhi and his involvement. Why did it suddenly seem like he was the center of the yatra?
Mr. Gandhi was, was very reluctant to have the Bharat Jodo Yatra packaged or billed or marketed as a Rahul Gandhi-led yatra. He always told us that, look, I am one of the yatris. This is a yatra of the Congress party. There are hundreds. We were 120 when we began. We are now 200. There are over 100 Bharat Yatris, and I am one of them. So he was very particular that it should not be billed as one man's yatra. Although, later on he said it's a form of tapasya for him and so on. But the other thing that distinguishes Mr. Gandhi's approach to the yatra and the approach of most congressmen and congresswomen, because most Congress people thought of this yatra in terms of reviving the electoral fortunes of the Congress. But Mr. Gandhi, from day one, has been stressing the yatra as an instrument of sharpening the ideology of the Congress. And I think that's what it was less electoral for him and more ideology and ideas for him. Organizations, of course, we are a political party. We exist to fight elections, win elections. So uppermost in the minds of every Congress worker is how will it matter in an election?
That's a very important thing, the political outcome of it. What is the political outcome will be?
I think he was more interested. He was less interested in the short-term political outcome.
Right.
As much as he was in ensuring that this is a vehicle for bringing ideological clarity.
Right.
May not bring ideological purity, but may bring ideological clarity. I think that's what his main intention was through. And I think the yatra then became a combination of the two. Because if it was an electoral yatra, then we would have suspended the yatra and gone for campaigning in Gujarat, gone for campaigning in Himachal. We didn't do that.
Right.
Because I think the consistent messaging was that this has got nothing to do with elections.
Right.
This has to do with sharpening the ideology,
Right.
taking on the RSS ideology and bringing to public, awakening the nation's conscience to these three fears, to these three threats to Indian unity, which is growing economic inequality, deepening social polarization, and the reality of political authoritarianism.
Now I noticed that you direct Rahul Gandhi and the Congress directly attacks the BJP, more the RSS. That is a thing. Earlier it was Modi, but now it seems the RSS is the brunt of the attacks. What's the reason behind that?
You can't distinguish the RSS is the ideological fountainhead of the BJP. Although I know that there are many elements in the RSS who are deeply unhappy with Mr. Modi's economic policies. But that's inevitable. Ultimately, governance, you have to make a lot of adjustments. But, to think that the BJP is different from the RSS is still not right. And the fact that the BJP is in power has given the RSS a new voice, a new respectability, a new position in the nation's discourse. So whenever Mr. Mohan Bhagwat speaks, it's headlines as if, God is himself speaking. Of course, there are two gods. There's Mr. Modi and there is...
But he doesn't mention Narendra Modi so often, Rahul Gandhi.
Sorry?
He doesn't mention too often Narendra Modi. It's more the RSS.
Yeah, because it's not election centric. It's
Right.
it's not an electoral yatra.
Right.
It's ideological yatra, and the BJP derives its ideology. It's the ideological brotherhood is pivoted on the RSS, and the BJP is the political face of the RSS. So we always talk of the RSS BJP, RSS BJP, RSS.